More on this breakthrough and for what it means for governments fighting the virus and for citizens who are still living with its effects. We can speak now to Gavin Yamay. He's the director of the Centre for Policy Impact on Global Health at Duke University, and he joins us now from Durham in North Carolina. Thank you very much for being with us here on France 24. Now, as I was saying, it's another day and another apparent leap in the race to secure a reliable vaccine. In your opinion, just how much should we be celebrating this breakthrough?
Well, it's become an article of faith to say that science is going to be our way out of this pandemic, and it is looking increasingly likely, I'm pleased to say, that is going to be true. We are starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel, not just with the two vaccines that have preliminary data to suggest high efficacy, but also the fact that we are developing better treatments, the fact that many nations have shown that actually you can control viral transmission through basic public health measures like testing, very widespread testing, rapid testing, tracing those who've been exposed and quarantining them, controlling your borders. So I think with this range of measures, vaccines, treatments, drugs that actually not only treat the disease, but might also prevent transmission in the way that AIDS drugs do, public health measures that we know can work. We've seen those being very successful in Eastern Asian and Pacific Rim nations like Taiwan, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea. That is really now starting to give us hope that this very long nightmare may be coming to an end, though it will not be a switch. It will not be a switch that just gets turned on. This is still, years, I think, ahead of us to get there.
Just going back to this Moderna Inc. Drug, which has been reported on today, it might be too early to analyse this vaccine, but from what we know so far, how does it compare to the others being developed at the moment?
Yes, so both the Pfizer vaccine, the interim results were announced last week, and the Moderna vaccine, they use the same technology, so-called mRNA vaccines, and they attack the same part of the virus. And so there are other vaccines in the pipeline using similar technologies, which is also promising. Don't forget, we've got 10 other trials that are in phase 3, the most advanced phase. Again, they are interim results. We haven't seen the final data. They haven't been published in peer-reviewed journals. And there are some unknown factors still. How long does immunity last, for example? We don't know that. Is it going to be effective in all groups and all ages? We don't know that yet. Though the Moderna data, they appear encouraging because we do know that people who were included in the trial include those who were elderly, they include those who had pre-existing conditions, and critically, they include people of color. We know, for example, that Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are more likely to die if they become infected. So it's crucial to know whether any coronavirus vaccine is going to protect those communities. So these are promising data. And as I said, there are other vaccine candidates in the pipeline. There are some logistical challenges. You've heard from that previous news report. The Pfizer vaccine has to be has to be stored at very cold temperatures, minus 70 to 75 Celsius. The Moderna vaccine has an advantage in that it only needs to be stored at minus 20, so more regular refrigeration. But there is still a supply chain challenge ahead. And don't forget, with both of these vaccines, rich nations have hoarded the supply. They have gone into deals with these companies and practically bought every single dose. And until we have the vaccine widely distributed to all countries, rich and poor, we're not going to be able to end the pandemic.
Very briefly, what do you say to those people watching who might be reticent or worried in the future about taking such a vaccine?
Well, I think take your cue from health professionals, we know that they will almost certainly be vaccinated first. There won't be enough doses to begin with to vaccinate people. Health workers, take your cue from them. If it has been approved by scientists, approved by the FDA here, if we believe it ourselves as scientists and physicians and public health professionals, that's a very powerful signal that we believe in it, that we believe it is safe, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Gavin Yamey in Durham in North Carolina, thank you very much for being with us. Now, staying with the